Welcome to Workshop Wednesday, come on in. At the Rural Report, let the prepping begin. We'll teach you the skills you need to survive. Join our community, let's thrive and thrive. Gather round, don't be shy. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday, come on in. At the Rural Report, let the prepping begin. We'll teach you the skills you need to survive. Join our community, let's thrive and thrive. Gather round, don't be shy. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday, come on in. At the Rural Report, let the prepping begin. We'll teach you the skills you need to survive. Join our community, let's thrive and thrive. Gather round, don't be shy.
And we are live, but again, that's just what it says on my end. It's on the internet, so it must be true. We're just going to roll with it and see what happens for tonight anyway. And for everybody that is here, I see there's some new people in chat. We're going to go through and do all of our hellos and welcomes and roll calls and all the fun things like that and see who is all here. And we'll see what tonight kind of brings with all of that. First, I have to, boom, there we go. Had to fix something, but let's see who's all here for this week's Workshop Wednesday. I see Chance Paladin is here first, the legend author himself. Great to have you here. KP is here as well. Great to have you. Ghosty, that's right, Shenanigans Inbound. I saw that you did not light up in blue. That made me feel really horrible. So you now, sir, have a shield. Wield it correctly. Douglas is here. Good evening. Good evening. Great to have you here. Who else is here tonight? Rob is here. Hello. Little Lone Prepper is saying hello to everybody. New Times, New Beginnings. Hello. Welcome on in. ADRVT is here. Hello from up north. Half Ready, flexing that muscle of his. Great to have you here. You've been putting out some fun content I've been seeing. Metal Spawn has stopped in. That's right. All the little music notes and whatnot. Dan, 5x5. Great to have you here, brother. Always fun to have Dan here in chat. So that means you all have to be well behaved for tonight. So with that, all of you fine, amazing, great, smart, wonderful people. I am rural. Grace is rural to be exact. It is Workshop Wednesday. So tonight, take your shoes off, sit down, get comfortable, grab a snack, grab some frosty beverage, and stay a little while. We're going to have a little chit chat and see where tonight takes us. And we will see where everything goes, because tonight, if you did somehow miss the title, is can you really build what you are building now and not sacrifice family? And let me kind of explain to this, because most people, homesteading is kind of that top end, right? That's kind of where you want to be, so that way it's kind of that ultimate level of self-sufficiency. Most people, when they think homesteading, they think livestock and food and a huge plot of land and all the different things like that. But for me, in my humble opinion of just some guy on the internet, probably one of the hardest things you'll ever grow is a healthy relationship with your family under pressure. For a lot of people, this is going to include me, we have a dream of self-sufficiency. But the thing is we can become hyper-focused and we can actually lose the reason of why. And what it'll actually do is drive a wedge between us and the people that we're doing all of this for. So tonight I want to kind of go over a few things, and we'll see where it takes us, because you have the opportunity in your lifetime, God willing of course, to build a legacy and not lose your family in the process. Because if we talk a little bit about the vision, what if the labor of the land was the very thing that brought the family closer together instead of actually tearing it apart? If people have the incorrect mindset, right, they really lose the focus, because we can have a vision but we can also have it to where what we are doing does more harm than good. There's a lot of people out there that do not realize that what they are doing, their reason of why, right? I want to build self-sustaining lifestyle so that way that my kids and my grandkids are safe, right? They're eating healthier food, they're having cleaner air, they're not in all the drama and BS out there in the major cities. It's just a safer all around better environment for them. But if that's our reason why, then we have to make sure that our reasons are enjoying it, right? Because creating that self-sustainability, that lifestyle shouldn't mean isolation or burnout for those in our household. And really what I want to try and do is share a little bit of some strategies and some ideas to where we can integrate those chores, the things you're going to do on your homestead, your farmstead, your piece of property in suburbia, because we want to make connections and ensure that what we are building is actually a good foundation where we're sharing joys and memories and good stuff, right? Because mm, really honestly, if you are a true person of preparedness, the number one hope that you should have is that everything you are doing is for nothing, right? We don't ever want that bad SHTF moment to ever happen. That's kind of the number one thing. Everybody jokes and says, the number one rule about prepping is we don't talk about prepping. Honestly, I think the number one rule about prepping is to hope that you never ever have to, use your preps in an emergency situation. But there is a truth bomb. There's a gut check, a reality check, whatever you want to call it, because that homesteading dream that a lot of us have can quickly turn into a very lonely nightmare. And when the work becomes more important than the people that's standing next to us, it becomes a problem, and sometimes it's irreversible. So we have to be very, very careful. This is kind of the reason why I wanted to bring this up tonight, because you can have the perfect garden, you can have an absolutely full pantry, you can have medicine out of the wazoo, you can have all of the protection, you can have so many things covered and checked off the list and rechecked, and everything's pretty much picture perfect, but it means nothing if your home life is fractured and diving off into the deep end where we don't have that balance between having the things that we envision and all the different things that need to be done and just putting your nose to the grindstone. If we don't have that balance where we're walking that fine line, then the emotional and the spiritual needs and all the different things that your family requires of you, your time, your attention, your love, all of that, if they don't have that, then what are you even doing, right? You're really making them suffer. When you see it as sacrifice, it's just not going to be a very good thing. So before we jump in, let's see if anybody has anything. Tired but listening. Hey, that's all good. Who else do we got? Isolation is needed sometimes to decompress and check yourself. Yeah, 100%. Yes, Cluck Norris is with me. He lives on my laptop. He is always here. And when I get back to some sense of normalcy, Cluck Norris will join me on camera again. I will do, he will have a check the next time that I'm live, Grace is live, both of us are live, whatever. The next live stream, I will make sure that you guys see proof of life with Cluck Norris. But he is definitely here and having a good time. So there is all of that. Miss Billy, great to have you here. Anybody I missed in chat, I'm sorry. Chat's kind of rolling through. So yeah. Hello, blanket. Hello. Let's see. That's right. Isolation. Yes. You guys are all doing everything. The Orlando Prepper. Hello, my friend. Great to have you here. Make sure you go check his channel out for his live stream tomorrow. God willing, and everything goes good, I will be there. So, but for all of that, let's jump back in because there's a lot more for this that I want to talk about. I'm going to try and keep this one a little bit on the shorter end. We will see where everything kind of goes time-wise and whatnot. But we'll just kind of see. Let me jump back into chat. I'm just curious about something real quick. There we go. My notes decided to disappear on everything. Okay, so let's talk about kind of some hidden costs, right? Because when we talk about the dream of homesteading, we've got to acknowledge that one of the big things is in preparedness and homesteading and just life in general. Burnout seems to strike and spike when you really just go too far, right? That all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Well, it goes the same thing with not being able to balance. We all have that same 24 hours. It doesn't matter if you're a movie star, rock star, professional fisherman, a garbage collector, a farmer, stay at home mom that homeschools, right? It doesn't matter. Midnight to midnight's the same 24 hours. Is what you choose to do in that 24 hours. That's the things that matter. And we all have things, right? You got to eat, you got to sleep, you got to go to the bathroom, shower. I hope you shower. But you got to do the things, right? You got home chores, you got work stuff, you got kids, grandkids, neighbors, you got inside work, outside work, you got time for yourself, you got studying. There's so much to do in that 24 hours. And to be able to have that precision skill, and it's one of the hardest skills to learn, to be able to cut that pie, that 24 hours, and make sure that the things are getting it right, because something always has to sacrifice. If I've got to go over here and take a class that I don't normally have in my routine, then am I going to lose out on some sleep tonight, right? Or is it spending time with my wife or the husband? Is it taking some time away from the kids? Do I have to travel, right? Maybe I'm going to go take a 3 day course and I have to be away from the home. Well, who's going to do the chores? Who's going to do the dishes, cooking? Like, there's so much involved with being able to do logistics of life that it's real easy to do burnout for yourself or burnout for your family. So we gotta make sure that we talk about this, because in the discussion tonight, I want to make sure that I bring up that physical labor on the land or even in the home or whatever. If we are doing it incorrectly, you start leading to like a what do we want to call it? Like an emotional distance at the dinner table. Let's just put it that way. When dinner time comes around, the family should gather around, the technology should be turned off, cell phones away, laptops, down, tablets closed out. You should have it to where it is family time, right? And if all you are doing is somebody's over here doing this, somebody's doing that and everything, and you guys come to the dinner table and it's basically just a bunch of perfect strangers just sitting there shoving food in their mouth and just counting down to the seconds that they can take and get up, right? There's no emotional connection anymore. And it can really drive that wedge. And if all we're doing is just basically slaving away, then the whole thing that we are sacrificing and telling ourselves this is all worth it, the people that's supposed to be benefiting, they're just emotionally not there. They're actually suffering. So I want to try and shift the perspective from homesteading as like a job to more homesteading as a shared family identity. We want to try and get everybody on board, right? We want to make it to where the wife and the husband can work together. Sometimes you're gonna have to work separate. The more you can do together, the better. If you can get the kids involved, the grandkids involved, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, whatever, the more people that you can get involved and get it into a way that, it's fun for the kids and that people are benefiting from the fruits of their labor, to where everybody sees value, right? Everybody feels appreciated. Everybody sees that their hard work means something, to where they understand the reason why of what they're doing, that they're not out there from sun up to sundown and they're just getting yelled at, screamed at, and not actually getting what they need for doing the efforts that they're doing. So it's just some of the things I wanted to touch on. Let's see who else is in chat. Vision is here. What's going on, Vision? Great to have you here. Ain't nobody got time. I hear you, Rob. 100%. Thank you so much for sharing out Chance's link there. Same here. I prep for the best way as possible. That way nothing is nearly as bad. That's good. Yeah, that's a very good way to do that one. Tuck's here. Hello, Tuck. Good to see you. Am I missing anybody? I prep so if bad times come, they don't suck as bad. Yeah, that's probably about the best way you could probably put that. That almost needs to go on a t-shirt there. First time here. Shout out to Hudson Valley Survival for the link. Yes, we love Mike and the Livingston man, and I was over there. I got in late. We were coming back from dinner, but I always try and check out "We All Gonna Die Wednesday." Probably, arguably, one of the greatest intro songs there possibly could be. So, uh, thank you for stopping on in and checking us out. Rabbit, hello, great to see you. I see you had to kind of check out early, but nice for you to stop on by. Let's go ahead and muscle on through and see what we can get through to tonight. And we'll see if Grace stops in and shares some of her wisdom as well. So when we kind of go through this, there's a lot of people that like to kind of think in that tactical style. So if we define the mission that we're doing through more as a collective vision, right? Let's move past that that singular dreaming mentality and move it over to create more of a family value map, right? That's what we want to do. There's so many people that they get into it. They get bit with the preparedness bug. They watch Vision or Hudson Valley or Half Ready, OVP, Orlando, all the great people that's in here and chat tonight that all have wonderful, amazing channels. They get inspired, right? They get motivated. They're like, holy cow, I've got to do this, right? And so they start preparing. And especially when you're new, you feel that pressure. You feel like you're way behind and you just push and spend and do all this stuff. If you don't get your family at least somewhat on board, right? It can be to where you're preparing against a brick wall. You can have it to where, and I've seen this before, people start sabotaging you, right? You're spending time, money, assets, and things like that away from them that you normally didn't before, and they can resent you for it. You can actually be doing all this to help them, but in all reality, they don't understand why, and so you're actually hurting them. So one of the best things you can do, especially early on, or even if you've already started, if you listen to this tonight and your family is not on board, now's the time to maybe take a step back and try and get them into that mindset, right? This is going to be a shared family value. And one of the things you should do is establish clear boundaries between what's essential, right? This asset, this gear, this supplies is essential. These chores are essential. And one of the biggest things, absolute biggest things, if you are writing this down, write it in big, bold letters, underline it, grab a highlighter, protect family downtime. Let me repeat that. Protect family downtime. You have to create it. I don't care what is going on, right? If there's bullets flying overhead, bombs in the backyard, things are on fire, fine, deal with it. But eventually, when there is downtime, protect it. Get in there, spend time. We have to remember we're human. Your kid, your grandkid, your niece, your nephew, your spouse is a living, breathing, free-thinking individual that just wants to feel loved and valued and appreciated, and they want your attention, right? They love you, and you have to give that to them. That is a need in order for them to feel human. We have to remember that all of that has to survive, right? We don't want to have SHTF happen and we get through each and every day by the skin of our teeth or a single hair on our head. We want the best we can possibly do to thrive, to come through this thing with barely even a notice that while everybody else is panicking and running around with their hair on fire, it's a minor inconvenience for us, right? It's not really too much out of the ordinary. So hopefully you've built that routine, right? Yes, I've got to get up early. Yes, I've got to do this and do that and go to work and blah, blah, blah. But hopefully part of your routine is that you have family time, right? That you have time for your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, that you create that downtime. Put all the tablets and technology and all that junk away. Half hour, 45 minutes, hour, figure it out. Make sure that you have that time. This is one of the things. We're in summer of 2026. Make sure that your goals, the things that you are envisioning, the things that you yourself, you are working towards right this very second through the summer of 2026, sit down and make sure they align with your spouse and your children. Make sure that it aligns with their current needs, right? That their wants, the things that they want to do. Because if all they're doing is they're begging to go to Disneyland, or they're begging you to go on a some family cruise or all this other stuff, and you're over here spending, you know, hundreds of dollars on pallets of water and beans and things like that, they're going to resent you, right? They're just, they're not going to appreciate none of it. And I know there's people out there that's going to push back and they'll be like, well, when it all hits the fan, they're definitely going to appreciate it. That's great. Maybe they will, but what happens if nothing happens? You're going to go through their entire life, and the thing that you were banking on for them to finally show you some appreciation never happens. It's just, that's not a pretty thing, and I wouldn't recommend it. So let's jump back into chat and see if there's anything that I have missed. Man, chat is really going nuts on all the fun stuff. That's right. Do all the YouTube things. Hit the like button. Share this out. Do all that fun stuff. Red Horse Homestead, hello. Great to have you here. Let's see. I'm trying for a much better job in the medical field. Awesome. Awesome. Let's see. You guys are all sharing out links. That is great stuff. Sometimes you drive, sometimes you ride, but you need your crew to be with. Yes, the family time is vital for your survival. Amen. That is excellent. I couldn't put it any better myself right there. Good on you. Look at everybody go. Vision is driving. Be very careful, Mr. Vision. Very, very careful with all of that. Just going through chat, making sure it's all that. So, Grace, I know that for you, that you were out there and dealing with some of the home life whatnot. So let me catch you up real quick, because this is an excellent time for you to pop in. So one of the things that I have shared with everybody here in chat is that everything that you're doing, right? If you are trying to get out and get a little bit more self-sufficient, if you are trying to farmstead, homestead, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to do to become more self-sufficient for your family, to have that better lifestyle, the healthier lifestyle, all that, is you have to make time for the family. You have to have that downtime, right? Because if all you're doing is doing work from sun up to sundown, and they don't get that time and attention, then what's the point, right?
Yeah, your family needs to be your why. Like providing for them, you know, doing right by them. That should be your why first and foremost.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen this before. Somebody, you know, they go through and they're just like, hey, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to take this money here, and I'm going to cash in the vacation fund, or I'm going to cash in the college fund, or we're going to cancel that Disney trip or the trip to the amusement park, and we're all going to go and take this medical class or something like that. If you start taking things away from your family before they start signing on, right? Before they take and they align everything, if you don't get it to where their values, their visions, their wants, their needs, if you don't get it to where they start understanding and it starts aligning with yours, you're actually putting them in a much worse spot. Even though you think that you're being helpful and that you're really doing life-saving things, it can turn out to be a very bad and negative thing for them. So it's just one of the things that I want to make sure that people understand. There's so many people out there that will think that it's for the right reasons.
Which, I mean, with medical, yes, it is, but especially in younger kids, it's a little harder to get them to understand and to be on board. I mean, think about it. If you were 8 years old again and you were hyped about Disney, and dad last minute's like, no, we're going to take this medical class instead. I mean, would you want to sit and listen to it? You wouldn't retain any of it.
Nope.
You would be too busy being mad.
Absolutely. Miss Billy says hi.
Oh, hey, Billy.
Rip Curls here. Great to see you. Oh, LLP. Always coming in with the perfect sayings. Time is something that you can't store for later. Once the moment is missed, you don't get it back.
That's right.
Man, that is good stuff right there. So let's dive into the next kind of milestone in tonight's discussion, which is integration over isolation, right? We've got daily chores. We've got the things we've got to do. Your alarm clock goes off at 5 a.m. You got to get up, shower, teeth brush, fight morning traffic, punch in, do all the stuff. But when you get home, you've got chores, right?
Yeah, most people do. I try to have the majority of it done before you ever walk through the door, but there are some days that, if it's a harvesting day or a preserving day, I mean, I don't necessarily have all the dishes done by the time you get home.
Which
Dinner
is
isn't always on the table by the time you walk through the door. I'm just glad that you're you're forgiving and that you're willing to roll up your sleeves and get in there with me and do the things.
yes, that's hashtag relationship goals. Normal everyday couples that you see on TV, they fight and argue about whose turn is it to take out the trash and do the dishes. 9 times out of 10, I come home going, Grace, why didn't you leave me something to do?
Because I'm here all day.
But one of the things I kind of want to go over is the way that you can start kind of taking, I guess, practical ways to turn that repetitive labor, the daily chores like weeding, harvesting, and all that, into more of a fun, low pressure connection time, right? Instead of going
Yeah.
outside and just sitting down and kind of mumbling through, and you're like, up, time to pick some weeds. We'll figure it out, right?
Right. Well, and I mean, that becomes kind of our highlight for the evening. It's like that's our decompression time. We're outside, we're not stuck indoors. Yeah, it's tedious and mundane, but I mean, it needs done. And, we get to chat back and forth. We're out in the fresh air and we are surrounded by the fruits of our labor.
Yes.
And it's such a rewarding feeling that even though we're not on acres and acres of land, to just look around at what we've created.
Yeah.
It's its own little reward.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's great, right? The way that I have my daily routines that I've done for most of my life, Grace has hers. Now that we've decided to do life together, it's wonderful for us because a lot of things we've done similar and the things that we differ on, it's actually pretty easy to kind of integrate where I go, wow, I've never done it that way. That's amazing. And we kind of teach each other. And it's one of the things that, like, we strategic garden. When you go out there and you're weeding, yes, she goes over here, I go over there. We're pretty close to each other as we weed and we talk and we strategize and all that. And then every once in a while, you find a strawberry that something else has munched on, and that gets yeeted in somebody's direction with a little chuckle. But we also, it's snack time. You ask a question and you don't get a response. Well, it's because the other one's chewing.
Yeah. It's all fun and games till somebody gets a potato thrown at their head.
Yes, it's not potato harvest yet. So
not yet.
Yes. But you kind of touched on it, right? Because everybody should have a role, right? Whether it is the 2-year-old running around and giggling, whether it's grandma, whatever, we have to design age appropriate ownership roles, right? Whether that's kids or the elderly, we need to have it to where they have a purpose. People that don't have a purpose, they don't have a job, then they don't have anything to take pride in, right? And what does that do? It makes them feel to where they're isolated. They start feeling resentment. They start looking at everybody else like they're important. I'm not.
Well, and I mean, not only that, but like the aging population, it's like if you can't keep the mind active, I mean, the body, obviously, you slow down. We all do as we get older. But keeping the mind active is going to be huge. That's where they would play a role in, childcare or teaching people how to garden, how to can. They may not be able-bodied enough in which to carry out those activities, but they can absolutely direct somebody.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. They've earned that supervisory role.
Right. And the littles, as far as that goes, it's like you're teaching the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't, who is going to?
Yeah.
Those skills, I mean, look at all of us for the vast majority. I'm not saying like every last one of us, but I mean, it only took 2 generations for us to become withdrawn from, how to grow and preserve our food safely.
Yes.
And it all started with somebody being like, oh, that's not important. Who's going to use that? We don't live in the dark ages anymore, so we don't need to teach that. No. Please.
Yes.
The littles need the jobs.
Yes.
And the elders can teach them.
Absolutely. And Rip will be praying for you, and we'll hope that things work out. And it's always wonderful to be thankful for the kids.
That's right.
100% with all that. So, um, most of you have been with me for a little while, and you know the way that I feel about technology. I seem to integrate it into at least once or twice a week of my absolute despise of technology. But the fact of the matter is we all use it, right? I'm on it right now. I have air conditioning running. I have lights. I have power. I'm talking on, microphone to a computer through the internet. I'm using technology. Why? Because I can utilize it. Words are hard. And yeah, I can make it to where it makes my life easier, right? I don't depend on it. If the power goes out tonight, I will chuck this computer in the corner and life will go on. I don't care. But while it's peacetime, for us, we can utilize modern tools and technology to reduce all of the drudgery, right? All that mundane stuff. And we can try and make it to where it automates a lot of this stuff, to makes it to where we can do things, right? Think about out in the field. If you had to go out and pick things by hand versus doing it with automation, it saves hours, if not days of labor. And what does that do? It maximizes time for face-to-face interaction with your family.
Right. I mean yeah. If it's a family thing, I mean, unless it's multi-generational, you're not going to have to necessarily run into that issue, but
right,
because you're not going to have, thousands of acres that you're having to pick by hand, unless it's like a strawberry operation or something like that. But even then, I don't see that being a single family thing.
No. Could you imagine picking like 100 acres of peas by hand?
I would never eat another pea again. I can promise you that.
Yeah,
because there doesn't exist a piece of machinery that I'm aware of that can successfully pick them and not damage them. So you're it.
Yeah, no.
I think that's why peas are like so pricey in the store, is because the cost of labor to pick those.
Well, and that's one of the things that I've had people come through. They're like, during SHTF, if you find somebody like you literally caught them red-handed with their hand in the cookie jar, what do you do? And I'm like, go make them pick peas.
Yeah. Oh, that'll bring them right out of it. Peas or strawberries, something where they got to have a good strong back to be bent over picking all day.
Yeah, and they're like, well, what happens if they sit there and they just eat them? They're not going to eat enough to where it's going to matter.
They're going to eventually get sick of it.
Yes, trust me, it is still it's a bad thing. So always keep that in your back pocket on that. Kids are good for scrubbing toilets because they're shorter and closer to the work. I mean, that's definitely true. So just for you, I'm getting another GPS clip for my pack. Excellent. He's talking about the morning chat that I did.
Right.
Definitely prefer an automatic washer and dryer over a creek and a washboard. Yep. 100%. And
oh yeah, well, times are good, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have the option of a washboard. I'm
Perfect.
Just saying it's better than taking it down to the river and beating it off the rocks.
Yes. And that's where it comes in, right? That we have that skill and that knowledge that we can do it. Just for me, I can go out here and primitively start a fire all day long. Right. Do I want to? No. I can use a lighter and flick a little thing and I've got a roaring fire in half a second.
Work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
We're in good times. We have the materials. It's a necessary skill to keep, sharp on, but that doesn't mean that, you're some kind of, lazy person if you don't choose to use the most primitive method available to you. Technology exists for a reason.
Yes. Yes, it does. Oh, Red Horse said in SHTF, I'd be picking the peas for the family, not for commercial resale. That actually is one of the good things, right? What's the best way to make yourself invaluable is do the skill that nobody else wants to do.
Yep.
Can you imagine going up to a mag and be like, hello, I will be the pea picker for today. And they'd be like, come on in. Oh, man, that is good stuff right there. All right, so let's move on and let's see where the rest of the night takes us. So one of the things in kind of that high stress times is, well, it's communication and doing stuff, right? And having it to where you can get a clear communication across. That's something of like I can't. Yeah, I know it's not going to work tonight. We're just going to have to skip through it. That is where we need to implement some sort of, let's call it a homestead huddle. How's that, right? Homestead huddle. Maybe that's what we need to do, is put that on a t-shirt. Because what that does is it brings everybody together, and it kind of schedules that time where everybody comes and we know what it's about, right?
Yeah,
If
we're
there's
just gonna go ahead and trademark that now, Homestead Huddle.
yes, homestead huddle, because well, we want to synchronize, right? We want to get schedules to kind of match up. Everybody kind of checks in. You check on each other, your emotional well-being, spiritual, physical. Like during SHTF, Bob's going to be here, Mary's going to be over there, everybody's going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. But to create that time of a daily, every other day, some sort of a way that we all get together and go, okay, here's what's going on, here's where we are, and each of the farming and the medical, and everybody gets that kind of heads up. You check on everybody, you do the little water cooler talk, you joke, you laugh, you check each other, make sure everything's all good. It's just that time to get together to where you're killing two birds with one stone.
Right.
So as we go through, right, especially now, I want to touch on this because we are in summer. We need to have some strategies for being able to have communication during the peak of summer while things are hot, right? Because what does heat do? Brings the frustrations out.
Yeah, and it'll sap your electronics because, I mean, me being outside trying to film, it'll zap my cell phone battery right quick.
Yes, it will.
Or a laptop battery.
It makes everything, whether it's technology, whether it's animals, kids, elderly, whatever. Heat is not fun. And I'm talking high heat, right? Where it's miserable heat.
Yeah.
And one of the things, especially during SHTF, where you don't have the luxury of going in and flipping something on or getting in the car and driving away or calling a friend or something like that, right? Everything's down. It has hit the fan. The people that you are with is who you are with. When the heat sets in and you are frustrated, guess who you're probably going to take it out on?
People closest to you.
Yep. And those are the ones that are depending on each other, right? Those are the ones that we love the most, and they are a reason why. And it's something as simple as overdoing it, getting out in the sun, getting frustrated. And the whole reason that we have done this for days, weeks, months, years, and decades, because we couldn't take a hot day.
Right. I mean, that's where some kind of cool room with a swamp cooler or something would be really beneficial, even because, I mean, there are ways that you can do this completely off grid. And that could mean the difference between things coming to blows or, living to see another day.
Yep. Yeah.
And with your mag intact.
Yeah.
Or your family intact, for that matter.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you start getting ego and pride involved, somebody gets a little upset and they mouth off. And if they have the ego and pride where it's not in check, coming to say I'm sorry first, that could take hours, days. It could last a while. Like, you can really drive a wedge, and then productivity goes down.
Oh yeah, it has a domino effect.
Yeah.
And it's just seemingly one very simple thing.
Yeah. And most of the time, once the dust settles, most of the time people don't even remember what it was about. So but
they remember that squabble and what was said. That's why, like, you gotta really bite your tongue.
Yes.
Because you once that comes flying out of your mouth, there ain't no taking it back.
Yes, 100%. Well, but let's go to the flip side on that, right? Again, everybody is a different, free-thinking, individual human being, right? They have their own thoughts, their own emotions, their own thought process, all the different things like that. And so we have to make sure that we understand that we need to create a culture. We need to create a way that everybody feels appreciated, right? That even the smallest of contributions by the 2-year-old or by 90-year-old grandma has appreciation. And we need to make sure that everybody in the household and everybody in the family is celebrated, right? Well, I'm not talking about the BS participation and trophies and things like that. We're not talking about somebody picked up a pebble and suddenly everybody stops, drops what they're doing, and we throw a 3-day, bender or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, when somebody shows up, when somebody is doing what they're supposed to be doing, that simple thank you, right? That pat on the back, that good job, and actually mean it, right? Because we have to understand whether you are the person on the 10th floor, the CEO running everything, or you're the janitor, everybody has a position and a job to fill. And without that person, it can make the whole thing either way more miserable or it's doomed to fail.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if there wasn't a person to fill those shoes, the trash man or the janitor, they're necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're kind of, downplayed often. But I mean, think about it. If those roles didn't exist,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's everything, right? For you to go and be successful at work, if your trash is overflowing, if the toilets don't work, I mean, how productive?
Everybody's having a bad day at that point.
Yeah, how productive are you going to be?
Not to mention potential sanitation issues.
Right.
Like, ugh.
Right. Well, and it's the same thing. If the electrician decides that, he's not doing electric work no more, or the IT man, or, whatever it is, like whoever it is in your area, no matter if they are ground floor and just starting out with no skills, or somebody that's been there for 30 plus years, they all have a role to play and they're all vital to it. Just like your family in an SHTF situation, that 2-year-old has a vital role.
Oh, yes, because sometimes they're comedic relief, too.
Yes, they are. Yes, 1000%. That's why I prep a lot of bourbon. Oh,
Woo-wee.
Yeah, there we go. Heat doesn't bother me. You take that back. Well, that's because you live down where heat's already affected you. So we're just poking at you. Yes, lots of breaks. Yes. And that's kind of knowing yourself, right? That's putting yourself through the stress test and going, hey, when I start feeling this way, this is my limit.
Yeah, I'm learning my limits this year because
we've changed your limits.
yeah, we had to move some things around. Of like, oh my goodness, this heat is entirely different than what I'm used to.
Ooh, morale dominoes. I like that. That's a good one right there. Sounds like something I would like to have. Check it out. Nice. There's no shame in any honest work. The ones who are on the highest rung has a lot harder to fall. Yes. Yeah. And it's just one of those that, that's the people that know the appreciation, right? It's the person at the ground level looking up going, oh, he's just some bigwig. He has no important role. I'm the one on the front line versus, the people that is in the reverse thing. They're just some peon that, they can be replaced by a monkey, just whatever it is. To have that to where they appreciate each other and know without that person at the top end making the hardest decisions, knowing that if they mess up, it's their head, right? Versus the one that's just coming in and maybe they're the doorman. Their entire job is to open the door for people to make sure that they can get in and out and they're greeted properly.
Right.
It's all important for the business to work. Same thing for your homestead.
Yep.
Making sure everybody's good. All right, we got 15 minutes. Let's see if we can start going through and wrap this up so we can kind of just chit chat for the last few minutes here. So let's redefine what success is, right? Let's get beyond the harvest. Let's get beyond all the different things of, what it is. And let's start shifting that focus from kind of that self-sufficiency to more of a sustainable sufficiency. So what it is it's going to allow rest. Instead of doing it to where it's self-sufficiency, I am going to make it to where I can survive. We want to make it to sustainable for the family to survive.
Right. Or your mag.
Yes, or your mag, your group, your tribe, all of that fun stuff.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yes. Yeah, you can label it however you want. But really one of the biggest things is whatever your end goal is, whether it is to get out of debt, whether it is to have a mini farm, whether it's to have your own house, property, whether it is homesteading, whatever it is, you need to try and make it to where you're turning it into a legacy, right? There is no end goal to your dream. When it comes to what you're building, there should not be an I'm done. It should be that you are continually maintaining, but striving to make it better, because we're going to pass it off. We're going to take our legacy and it's going to go to your kids, your grandkids, or somebody.
If you don't have kids, a niece or a nephew, or your best friend's kids, like somebody that is going to pick up that torch and appreciate that.
Yes, 1,000%. And one of the things I think that kind of goes through with all this is that building a legacy and building out to where you're following your dreams takes time. And one of the biggest things you need to have time is taking care of yourself, making sure you're prioritizing your health.
Yes, I mean, you're going to be more of a liability than anything if you don't take care of yourself.
Yes. So it's one of those that, especially when you're new, or especially when certain things kind of go, there's a lot that people, they get on it to where they just want to expand, right? I want expansion of the farm. I want expansion of the house, the property, the homestead, right? We just want to grow and get bigger, and bigger is better. But they lose out on prioritizing their health. They lose out on making sure that the family is taken care of if something was to happen, right? If I was to be headed out to the gas station or to work, and somebody thinks that they can do whatever they want, and they text and drive and suddenly hit me, it's no fault of my own, right? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't want Grace and the kids to pay the price for somebody else's being irresponsible. So that's where things of asset building, that's where things like setting everything up, becoming debt free, life insurance, setting up various funds and savings and things like that, so that way, if something is to happen while we're still building, they're taken care of.
Right.
It's not fun to talk about. It's not something that people just look forward to, and it's just something that it's something that needs to be done, because it's where you need to have it. Because if we don't take it serious and we don't talk about it, it's an uncomfortable reality. We're all going to meet our demise at some point in time. It's what makes life beautiful, is because we all have an expiration date and we don't know when it is. Hopefully it's many years and decades from now for at least most of you. I know for Grace and myself, I want to do everything I can to be as healthy as I can, so I have as much time with her and the kids as I possibly can. It gives me time to spend with them. It gives me time to create memories with them, but it also gives me enough time that I can build more for them, right? The more time that I'm here on earth, the more time that I have to build bigger and better things for them. If something is to happen to where I neglect my health, I'm actually hurting my family. If I have it to where somebody else does something, right? They just maybe they forget to tighten the lug nut and their wheel falls off, and it cascades and bad things happen. Well, I'm trying to make sure that while I'm here, I have things set for them. So it's something that I think that a lot of people should
taking care of what you can control, because there are so many variables out there. It's like you would drive yourself insane.
Yes.
So
yes.
Just triage and take care of what you can.
Yes. Half ready. Good night, brother.
Good night.
Hope you have a good one. So with a little bit left, because I want to kind of go back to the spirit of Workshop Wednesday, where it's kind of a free for all and we kind of let chat go through. Right. So I'm going to try and wrap this up in the next couple of minutes here, put a little pretty bow on it. And then if you guys want, just go ahead and start dropping questions in the chat. And it's about anything, right? If you want to ask about current events, if you want to ask, basically anything within reason, we'll go back through and we'll start answering a bunch of questions, and we'll see where it all goes. But to kind of finalize this, right? I don't want this to be doom and gloom. I don't want this to feel heavy. I don't want this to become one of the things to where it's just a bad thing. I want to actually leave this on an encouraging note, right? That when you're building in life and you're trying to create, you're working towards your dream, you're trying to create that legacy, it needs to feel good. If you are having it to where it is stressing you out, it is causing problems between the kids, the grandkids, the neighbors, the friends, the people that you are doing this for, the why,
Yep.
then it's time to stop, take a step back and look at things and try and figure out what in the world are we even doing. We need to make sure that the whole reason that we're doing the beans, the bullets, the band-aids, the whole reason that we're asset building, the whole reason we're trying to get out of the debt is so that way the family is healthier, safer, provided for, and that we have more time to spend together and have the memories. And if we, in the process of doing that, we're not happy, then we need to stop immediately, right?
Right.
There's a difference between short-term sacrifice and long-term uh-ohs. So just kind of that whole thing. I want to encourage you, go through and make sure that we're doing that work-life balance. Make sure you're doing your chore life balance. The biggest thing is to make sure that your family is on board the best they possibly can, right? It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to get everybody as gung-ho as you are and excited as you are about things, but we can at least get the wheels turning. We can at least try and incorporate it. We can at least try and make it fun for them, right? Sometimes all we need to do is plant the seed and show them this isn't what you think it is, right? We can show them that, it's not a running and gunning. Maybe, they're into something, incorporate their hobby. If their hobby is sewing, cool. Have them start making, some tactical stuff for you or whatnot. If they're into gardening, even better. They're into animals, awesome. Get them to where they get interested, get them in the foot in the door, and then they can start realizing that they've been doing prepping all along.
Right. Nurturing those skills. It's something that they're interested in. So, I mean, who knows? That may be what their strong suit winds up being for your family.
Yes.
That could be your future vet.
Yep. There's a bunch of that. So, okay. So, we're just going to leave that there. Let's jump into chat. Let's see if anybody's got any questions. As long as Grace is here, you can ask Grace some questions too. And we'll see if anybody has anything. Not a question, an opinion. Devil, please read the careful labely. Yeah, okay. We'll have to read some labels and do some studying on all that. Taking time off for myself is the hardest thing possible for me. I keep working until I pass out. I've been there. I've definitely been there. It's one of those that everybody has their own work ethic. And, there's times to where I can regulate myself. I know that there's probably a day or two where Grace has had to grab me going, stop it, sit down. But it's just some of those that you got to know what your limits are. Jules, question, does Grace wear earplugs to bed?
No, honestly, it's not necessary if he's propped up.
Yes. I did not position myself properly at Bug Out Weekend, and so you all paid the penalty of hearing me snore. Grace has me next to her in a very nice, soft bed with the appropriate pillows,
right.
Air conditioning.
Yes. Ideal condition.
Yes. So we sleep rather comfortably. No, earplugs are not required for nighttime.
That would honestly be kind of dangerous. I would rather put up with snoring than not be able to hear if somebody's breaking into the house.
Well, just remind me that the next Bug Out Weekend, I need to gift Jules some earplugs.
Okay.
I neem oiled my fruit trees today. The little black bug things were starting to eat tons of the holes in them. I wish they would go away, but they keep coming back.
Are you talking like flea beetles? Because neem oil won't do anything to them. You need diatomaceous earth if they're flea beetles. So chance you Google flea beetles and flea beetle damage and see if that's what you're referring to. Anything with a hard shell, you're gonna want diatomaceous earth to get rid of.
And if you need that saying again, Chance, you know how to get a hold of me. I can go out to the garden shed and take a picture because we have some.
Yes. I don't like spraying anything like even neem oil and DE are kind of like one of those things that I try not to use. But I mean, I use food grade diatomaceous earth. Neem oil washes off with water, so it's not a big deal.
Yes. Well,
It's not like, the other nastier pesticides, chemicals, and stuff. Like,
yes.
some tinier.
Yes. Well, and that's one of the things for us. We live by the
Hey, JS.
yes, JS definitely when he comes in we know it's him. But we definitely everything that we talk about on the channels we do it, right? It's we not only talk the talk but we walk the walk. So
Yeah.
do we like to spray stuff? No, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Right. And I mean, there's a lot of other alternatives to, like, let's be honest. Are you going to go in with a flamethrower to your garden, or are you just going to go in and just kind of like a little bit here, a little bit there? Like, people want to use freaking napalm on their garden. It's like that. It's really, it's overkill. It's not necessary.
I wonder if they live on the birds. They might.
I mean, I don't know that mites, because I mean, birds typically carry mites. I don't
Right.
know that that would be anything that would be interested in plant and not a like a host that's that's
Yeah.
got a blood or whatever. 'Cause
Well, I
that's
tell
the
you
thing,
what.
like,
Let's try something. Chance, if you want, take a picture,
yeah,
send it to us. We'll see if we can help you out. Flamethrowers are fun. Yes,
they can be fun.
they can
Don't
be.
trust me, they got their place.
Yes, yes.
I'm just saying, in the garden, nah.
They're not bug out weekend approved. But if you bring one, I'm not going to say stop you or say anything. So
Groundhogs. I'm telling you, JS, last year I planted my beans 3 freaking times. Every single time. Between the rabbits and the daggone groundhog. Ate them down to the nub. I was just like, okay, this is not a bean year.
yes.
This is not a bean year for me.
All I know, if they don't stop them the first time, they get all the trees. Ouch. Ants ate the cherry trees?
Okay. Well, I've had issues with ants in my because I had a van cherry and I had ants, but the problem wasn't the ants. It's the symbiotic relationship the ants have with aphids. So the aphids hitchhike a ride on the ants, and the ants, they're crawling all over the place. They drop the aphids off. Aphids then suck the I guess it would be considered the nectar or whatever out of the leaves, the chlorophyll, whatever you want to call it. Then they make, like, their waste is what's called quote unquote nectar, and that's what the ants feed on. So that's why they're like, hey, yeah, you can hitchhike a ride for me because you're going to make me food. That's usually what takes, I know it's gross, but still, but that's usually what takes down your fruit trees like that. When you see ants, it's not necessarily the ants.
They milk the aphids for the sweet liquid.
Yep.
Oh, fox getting in the chickens.
Ugh. I already dealt with that this year.
Oh, man. Well, see, if Jules has cherry trees, I would say that we could just go up to Canada and get some cherries.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't think Jules would mind if we go up there and take about, what is it, 4 or 5 bushels of cherries and bring them back.
That's a long trek for just a couple bushels of cherries.
Yeah, but cherries are getting expensive.
Yeah, they're getting expensive, and it wasn't a good cherry harvest here in the U.S. this year so far.
Foxhide makes good for a winter hat.
Trust me, the thought had crossed my mind.
Yeah. I could use a new winter hat, too. It'd be a nice one. It'd be a very nice one. Okay. Well, usually, I cut off around 10, and so I start seeing the number of everybody watching slowly dropping off. So, I give you guys another minute or two if you guys have a question, comment, concern, topic, anything you want. For me, Grace, both of us, whatever. Now's your chance, or you're gonna have to wait a whole nother week. Come on up. I think we might have to go out and see Chance because I don't have a passport anymore. So
I don't know if I have one or not.
Me-
I've got the little doohickey on my driver's license, but other than that, I don't think I have one. I've never been outside the U.S., y'all. I'm sheltered.
um, put him on a stake for the other foxes to see.
J.S. the Impaler.
There it is. I would say that we could trade Jules grapes for everything, but I'm going to eat all them grapes.
Well, don't eat all of them because some of them I'm going to turn into juice
And
jelly.
And
they're not wine variety grapes.
They're going to be.
Okay, so we're going to do some experimenting, apparently.
Yeah, we is. You want to see how this turns out. You can ferment a lot.
Yes, you can ferment almost anything.
So we're gonna see how this hand works. And I was out there the other day. We were checking out some things in the garden, doing some weeding, some picking, and whatnot. And the bottom bunch of grapes looks almost picture perfect, almost what you would see in like a commercial for grapes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thankfully we haven't had a dry spell here like most of the U.S. has, so everything's filling out real nice. We don't have stress cracks in the tomatoes. Like there's a lot of people dealing with blossom end rot. Like we've been very, very blessed.
Yes. I mean, that's not to say we haven't had our issues. There's been a thing here and there.
There's always going to be issues. Every single year in the garden, I face new issues and some old.
Yes.
It's just going into it with the mindset and being real. Like, yeah, there's at some point you're going to encounter something that is going to make you feel so discouraged and make you want to give up. But it's like, if you don't learn how to push past that or how to remedy that, sometimes it's just ripping the plan out and restarting from scratch. Just like, I mean, you get to a point in the year where you can no longer compete with squash bugs.
Yep.
You just rip them plants out and you let that life cycle complete itself, and then you just start again.
Yep.
If you have a long enough growing season, you can get 3 plantings of those in.
Yep.
Before your first frost.
I mean, we were out there in the one tomato bed. That poor tomato plant has more tomatoes on it than I didn't think it was ever possible.
Yeah, it's an indeterminate variety that I'm not familiar with growing, and literally because we didn't grow it from seed, we got it from the nursery for like, it was marked down on clearance, and I'm like, okay, this is an early producer, we're gonna try it. So literally all I had was the name. So when I Googled it, it didn't come up. So it's like, okay, well, we're just gonna,
toss us in the ground.
Yeah, we're gonna watch and see what it does. Well, it puts on a lot of, I would say, 7 or 8 ounce fruit in clusters. If you don't have this thing staked properly or trellised properly, it will be so heavy it starts peeling away from the main stem, and then those start dying off while the fruit's not ripe yet. And it's like, okay, well, we're either having fried green tomatoes or we're gonna have some salsa verde or something like it.
Yeah, we're gonna do something, but that is definitely one that it caught my attention. My jaw dropped. Grace had to come over and make sure that my jaw got picked back up. And she had the bright idea of going, we're going to seed save from that one.
Yeah, it's kind of off by itself. So I'm hoping that there's no cross-pollination. Because again, we're not on a whole big lot of land to where I could have planted it entirely independent and been really sure. But honestly, if I'm not breeding it exclusively for, the name. If that thing produces like that and it has offspring that, because everything around it's producing really well this year, despite not seeing many pollinators. I know that tomatoes are self-pollinating and I go through and I tap and stuff, but like these things set fruit big time.
Yes.
Like the yields are crazy.
Yes, it's definitely a fun year. It's an exciting year. We knew we was going to have failure just because this is a whole new grow area. This is a whole new climate. This is a whole new altitude for Grace. She's trying to get used to all this stuff. This is one to where I have help in the garden. So not only did we make it bigger, we made it bigger, 3 to 4 times what I had, and that's being generous.
Right, and I'm used to growing in raised beds, containers, in the ground. Now we've graduated to, I don't know if you've seen the third channel yet or not from the Ashes Homestead. If you haven't yet, go over there and check it out. But we planted a bunch of hanging basket variety tomatoes, but we didn't do the plastics. We did the cocoa core lined baskets, and let me tell you, one thing we are learning very quickly is size matters.
Yes.
For those, because we had 8-inch baskets, and those things, they're 2 to 3 times a day watering, and that involves you going out there being very intentional and setting a timer, going out, pulling those down, get them, keeping them out of the sun until the leaves are dried off, and putting them back out, because the baskets dry out so fast. Even the 12-inch baskets that we have, we're having issues keeping them sufficiently hydrated. Now, there's no sign of blossom end rot yet, thank the Lord, but it's a possibility, because that usually winds up happening when the soil dries out and it can't properly uptake nutrients, calcium being one of those. And that's what, it's really hard. It can be done, but it takes time and intention to bring that plant out of blossom and rot mode, and start producing healthy fruit again.
Well, and that's one, if you have not gone over to the third channel, there's going to be a lot of the stuff as we go through. You'll definitely want to see as harvest season comes. We're going to be doing an end of season review, kind of how she said with hanging baskets, but we also learned a lot of lessons in raised beds, whether it was buying them metal, buying them plastic, making them ourselves, the homemade, the difference between round and square and rectangle, and the difference of going and getting a plastic bucket,
sun mapping, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because, being in a different growing zone, on top of that, everything is so different here. I feel like I'm day one again. While I do have some working knowledge because, I've been growing for a while, but it would be like if somebody is used to growing in like Alaska, dropping them in Florida and being like, here you go. Like, I've never grown this before.
Yes.
I don't have a long enough growing season.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things. There's a lot of people, if they are not in tune to the skill, then they think that growing is growing, and that's just not true.
It's not. No, and they're lying to themselves. They're just, if they're saying that, because I'm still learning.
Yeah. Well, that's taking the guy that's gone every day for the last 40 years to the pond out back and dropping them off in the ocean and doing ocean fishing.
Right.
It's fishing, but it's two completely different things.
Yeah, you're not taking a little ugly stick out there to get something out of the ocean. That's going to snap your pole.
Yeah, to catch Free Willy or Shamu or whatever. But it's the same thing, right?
I think we're supposed to catch them.
It's driving grandma's 30-year-old Honda Civic and then getting in a Formula One car. Yes, they're tires and vroom vrooms, but they're completely different. So make sure that as people go through and share stories, you kind of remember that on a lot of this. I'm putting Grace through so much change right now, and the way that she has taken it on, learned from the small mistakes here and there, and really in just the past few weeks to months has come such a long way. I almost felt like you've lived here forever.
Well, when it comes to food, you have to learn really fast, and there's not much room for error.
Yeah, adding in the rotation. Nice, nice. All right. Well, I think 11 minutes over is sufficient. Um, and it is Wednesday, so I want to make sure that you guys had somewhere to go. So you had an outlet, you had a platform, you guys can come hang out and chit chat and network, and hopefully picked up a thing or two from Grace and myself for the Wednesdays. We're going to try our best. We're going to see if we can do a live stream this weekend. So make sure that you are connected to all three of the channels. We'll try and share it out to make sure that you know where we're going to be, and we'll see what happens on over there. So thank you guys again for coming and hanging out with us. Again, I'm going to do my best to try and get the content out and do my best to stick to somewhat of a routine and whatnot. Grace, I've been watching, has been doing so many great things. I know she's got a lot coming up that is amazing, not only for her channel, but the other channel as well. So new and exciting fun things, new announcements, new things we're working on. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah, it really is.
So with that, I want to say good night, but I'm going to say it last. So Grace, if you would like to tell everybody a fun good night, goodbye, all that.
A fun good night. Y'all, I hope everybody gets a wonderful night's sleep and wakes up feeling rested tomorrow, because, you know, sleep is invaluable.
Yes, it is. So I couldn't said it better myself on all that. Make sure that you guys are telling the ones that you love them. Do what you can to go to bed happy. Set yourself up for success as you get a good night's sleep. Wake up tomorrow determined to have a good day and work towards that, right? We want to make sure that not only are we having a good day, but take this as you're prepping homework. Try and have it to where you are doing something to where somebody else has a good day, right? That somebody else, you are the reason why they smiled, they laughed, that part of their day, even if it was just for a moment, they had a good thing in their life happen tomorrow because of you. So with that, if you guys have a great day, an amazing day, a blessed day, stay tuned because there's more information to come. With that, remain united.
Because we're all prepping in this together.
Good night, folks.